So Polish women, first of all, are very strong charactered,
Yeah.
and they have a lot of knowledge in many topics as well as economics, which is great. So she does double question my, financial or economical choices, but just to is some sort of this brainstorming. So I tell her something, I would like to do this, I would like to do that, and she double questions that, not in a negative or you know not in a negative way, but just in a positive way to see maybe we could improve this. Maybe because one point of view is not enough.
Not
you know what I
enough.
mean? You might think that your point of view is the best in the world, but we're just humans. So sometimes having someone who just conversate and sees things differently, or just questions what you think, makes you realize, okay, maybe this is not that good. So that's why many times it was very close to buy properties, and then she double questioned that and said, but this property has this and that's that, and if something changes. And then I ended up not buying the property, because then I was just oriented and I just had my view, but my wife double questioning what I was doing widened up my own perspective.
Yeah, and Polish women are super socially smart and aware,
Yeah,
so that helps them when making the decision. Yeah.
yeah, true.
So for sure, she maybe avoided you making a lot of loss.
Yeah, absolutely. And also sometimes, when you operate in a different country, for example, if you, instead of buying a property to rent it out to students, you want to buy a property to rent it out to a couple. For me as an Italian, I search for certain things, and I can give you tangible examples. I think that maybe it's not all Italians, but me personally, I like space. I think that on average, spaces of apartments in Italy are much more, while in Poland, spaces are very.
Yeah, and then they call it 2 rooms the apartment.
Yeah, exactly, which is like 30 meters square,
30
40 meters square,
yeah.
which for us, an Italian living in a 30-meter apartment would see like being imprisoned,
Yeah.
But for example, Polish people care about the stand of the apartment, which is like the condition. So if it's very new, they care more about it has to be new instead of being big. So me, I care about having more space, but even if the apartment is not that new, I don't care.
Yeah.
But my wife, having been Polish, she could tell me, if you want to buy an apartment to rent it out to people, you have to have something new instead of being spacey. So different perspectives, which you give it for granted, but they're not granted, because you can't know since you're from a different place.
Yeah, and it's so impactful in the market right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because for example, you could buy apartment that is not renovated, that is not very well built, and then you can make it high standard.
Yeah,
Then you can ask for more money. Yeah.
obviously. Even though I am a big believer of
Space.
no, besides space, of less trouble that you can ask for, the better. Meaning that if you find a good apartment which is semi-new, and you can make some small renovations and just rent it out, it's even better, especially if you're not Polish, because then you have to find a company and people to do the renovation.
Wow.
And then they create issues. And then imagine that, for example, you have an apartment which is quite old and you have to renovate everything. It might take a year, right? And then for that year, you cannot rent it out. Instead of, if you have a apartment, you have to make minor repairs, which you could do in 2-3 weeks. Then you can rent it out right away, and you can start generating
Revenue.
income, revenue, and you don't lose that year. And if you do the calculation, I don't know, 3,000 zloty per 1 year is already a good amount of money. It's like more, what I mean, it's 36,000 K. So then you have to see your own things. It depends if you're very busy as well. Instead, if you can dedicate time, because you need time to follow renovation.
I know, man. And time, and they consume money,
Yeah.
mental capacity that
Absolutely.
you want to put in something else.
Absolutely.